everyone, and welcome back to the Joy-Filled Universe podcast. I am your host, Lisa Ryan, and today is the second of 6 episodes that we are doing together as we practice the lessons in Jack Canfield's 30-day guide to living the law of attraction. So how is everyone doing? Were you able to accomplish your first lessons 1 through 5? I know that I certainly did mine, and I'm just happy to share real quick that my vision word for my desire was worldwide, which means my affirmation that I've been practicing all week has been, I am worldwide. And so you can probably guess that's all about the Joy-Filled Universe podcast. Yes, because I just have such a strong desire to be all around the whole wide world, just raising the vibe and reaching as many people as I possibly can as we practice all these incredible tools and tricks together as a universe, as a joy-filled universe. All right. Let's see. Okay. The next one was a word that friends and family say about me is caring, which means I have been saying out loud and to myself, I am caring. And I just love that because it does truly align with my core purpose, and it just kind of describes exactly who I am. So thanks, friends and family. I love the word caring. And then moving right along, I took some time to reach out to the VIPs in my life, and I let them know that they make me smile, and that they actually appreciated that. So I think I might try to do that a little bit more often. And let's see, what was the next exercise? The next one was kind of being aware of negativity. And I did become pretty aware of negativity. In fact, it was a particular human, or should I say energy vampire, who just didn't or doesn't any longer serve my highest good. And they are a friend, but almost every time I engage with them, I feel defeated or a little sad afterwards because they have a little bit of a passive aggressive kind of way, and they just kind of make me feel, I guess, bad about myself after I've been hanging out with them. So I decided to just stop making myself available with the intention of kind of like just fading away. And I'm not saying I'm ghosting them. I'm just fading away, which is actually kind of easy because we aren't in the same friend group or anything like that. And we were just friends from a past, like we had a past together. And all this to say, I'm not feeling bad about it, and I didn't allow myself to feel judgy or angry with them either. I just accepted them, and I'm grateful that our paths crossed when they did, and I'm letting go and moving onward, and that feels so much lighter to me, and I'm really, really thankful for that. And then lastly was the power of substitution, right? My negative reoccurring thought that I replaced with a positive one. And mine has been around getting stronger. And I often say, I wish I wasn't so weak, or I wish that my arms didn't look so flabby. Neither of these, by the way, make me feel very good. So I have started to catch myself, and I replace that thought with, I am excited that I'm running and exercising more because my muscles are growing with each workout that I endure, or I should say that I enjoy. And again, this feels so much better for me because I'm not allowing the negative self-talk to monopolize my mind. So those were my first 5 lessons that I'm keeping current in my 30-day journal. And if you haven't accomplished all 5 yet, that's okay. It's totally okay. Just take your time and commit to getting them done. And guess what? When you're ready, the next episode, it's going to be right here for you because it's saved on all the pod platforms. So there you go. Right now, I'm just going to say, wherever you are, if you're enjoying listening to the pod and, I don't know, getting a little forecast into what's coming up, well, then let's listen together. And for those of you that are ready, let's embark on lessons 6 through 10. Okay, here we go. Lesson number 6. In lesson 6, we are going to focus on the differences between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Now, our conscious mind, you can think of it as kind of like the tip of an iceberg, because if you can believe this, it is only about 5% of our mental power. It is what we are aware of right now. Our thoughts, the decisions that we make, and our focus. Like choosing to listen to this podcast, right? That was a conscious decision. However, in our subconscious mind, it is so much more powerful because it is what makes up the other 95% of our mental power, which means that it is largely just running the show behind the scenes. It's like that supercomputer because it is here that our beliefs, our habits, and our memories are stored. Everything from joyful childhood memories to those ugly mental movies that spark low vibe emotions and cause us to think things like, I'm not good enough, or money doesn't grow on trees, or whatever else has been stored there. These are just those autopilot thoughts that are often continuously running in the background. And if we lean more to the side of the low vibe mental movies, well, then with that comes a constant flow of negative vibes. And we are pushing those vibes straight out into the universe. Now, you might be thinking, okay, got it. Well, who cares, right? Why does that even matter? Well, it matters because if our subconscious is replaying negative tapes, it is literally broadcasting low vibe frequencies and attracting more of the same right back to us. And the universe, it doesn't care what is conscious or subconscious. It responds to the dominant energy. So those limiting beliefs that we might have, right? Are you aware of those? Do you remember us talking about those? Well, they are silently shaping our reality unless we become aware of them and we reprogram them. Remember, we can rewire our minds by creating some shiny new positive thinking neuro pathways, which means that we can change the negative thoughts into positive ones that serve us and make us happy and are in alignment with who we truly are. Because negativity in our lives creates interference, and most specifically, interference with our frequency. And the example that Jack Canfield used was a really great one in his lessons. And he likened our negative thoughts to like a parking brake on a car. He said, if we're driving with the parking brake on, it makes it very hard to accelerate. And the car will move. Sure, it will move, but it doesn't move without a whole lot of resistance being applied. And also too, I don't know about you, but I've done this and I get that, like that ding, ding, ding in your car. It's like, hey, turn off the brake. So anyway, that's what had happened. So you're moving fine, but there's that resistance. It just is not moving with flow. However, when we release the brake, it's like the car automatically just starts moving along faster, and we don't even have to push the accelerator. It just starts moving. So we need to go ahead and clear that negativity so that we can enjoy the abundance that comes with the optimistic, high vibe, easy flow, because it is there. Now, really quick, I want to go back to some of the comparisons between the conscious and the subconscious mind, because this too was highlighted in the lessons, and I loved this comparison, and I figured you all would be pretty intrigued with it as well. So we just discussed that the conscious mind is what we use to make everyday decisions. And believe it or not, it has a very limited processing capacity. Our short-term memory with the conscious mind it's like 20 seconds long, and it can only manage about 1 to 3 events at a time. And impulses travel through our conscious mind at a rate of about 120 to 140 miles per hour. And it can process about 2,000 bits of information per second, which I think is the average processing speed. And then there is our subconscious mind, on the other hand, and I am just going to say that this is also often referred to as the spiritual and universal mind. It knows no limits other than the ones that we choose for ourselves. And our subconscious, it functions in every cell of our body, which reminds me of one of my favorite sayings. And I think I've shared this in a previous pod, but it is, be very careful of what you think because every cell in your body is listening. And that is so true. And I try to remind myself of that all the time, most especially when I'm kind of in a crummy mood. And let's see, the subconscious mind, it connects us to our higher self, which is why it's also known as the spiritual and universal mind, because it also is our connection to God, source, the divine, universal, infinite intelligence, infinite field of energy, or whatever term you choose to use here as it relates to your higher good, your higher spiritual self. So when it comes to the processing capacity, right? You remember what I just said about the conscious mind? Well, the subconscious mind, it can manage thousands of events at a time with impulses that travel over 100,000 miles per hour compared to the 120 of the conscious mind. And quite frankly, I'm not exactly sure how they measure that, but it is totally impressive to me. And what's also very impressive is that the subconscious mind can process an average of 4 trillion bits of information per second. 4 trillion versus the 2,000 bits in the conscious mind. That is why connecting to the subconscious is really important, and setting time aside every day to connect with our higher selves through our subconscious mind will certainly strengthen the connection to who we really are. And I can say that we can exercise this little check-in through affirmations, prayer, contemplation, and meditation, gratitude, and visualization practices, or any other methods that you choose to use. Me personally, I love going out for a run. That's one of my best methods for just connecting to my subconscious and kind of drifting into a dreamy, happy state. But whatever it is for you that just quiets the chatter of the conscious mind and allows for you to just get into the flow of the subconscious. And this practice helps us to attain our goals and manifest desires much, much quicker through the law of attraction and with much less conscious effort too, right? If that's subconscious, if you can tap into that, the conscious effort, it melts away 100%. So let's talk about the action for lesson number 6 here. We're going to start with 5 minutes a day and try to build up to at least 20 minutes a day. Sit with your eyes closed and meditate. Yes, folks, we are going to sit and try to meditate, starting with 5 minutes and building up to at least 20. And here's 3 ways that we can approach this. First is just following your breath. And you do this by putting your awareness on your inhale and your exhale with your breath. And it helps sometimes. They say that some people, if you're having trouble focusing on your inhale and your exhale, to just add some audible sounds like so on the inhale and hum on the exhale. But I don't know about you. I did try this. For me, the sound gets a little bit distracting because I'm like, I don't think I can do so on the inhale and hum. It just becomes too much for me. But whatever works for you, give it a go. So hum or just focusing on your inhale and your exhale, do you. You do you. Okay, then another way of trying this is to focus on your heart. And this is what works for me. Focusing on your heart. Imagine that you can breathe through your heart, right? Breath is like this pure golden light. Picture pure golden light, and it's going through your heart by way of your chest. And then you exhale love and appreciation to a specific person or pet or object or environment, like your garden or your moon or the sunshine. So you're breathing in and you're focusing on your breath and picturing pure golden light coming in. And when you exhale, you're exhaling love and appreciation for any of those elements that bring you joy. And then lastly, another way to practice this meditation is just focus on the quality and experience of inner peace. Feel it, project it, feel yourself as a peaceful part of the universe. Just anything that it takes to quiet that mind and sit peacefully in joy and harmony. So this meditation, it will aid with the connection of our subconscious mind, and the more we do it, the longer we do it, the better we become. And by tapping into this most powerful portion of our brain, the subconscious, imagine the incredible feelings and emotions that we will accomplish while rewiring any negative habits into positive ones. All right, then lesson number 7, giddy up. I think we are all getting the flick that emotions are a critical factor in the law of attraction equation. And when we learn to listen to our emotions, we are giving ourselves access to our own feedback system, which brings awareness to the frequencies that we are creating in our lives. So whatever we give our attention to creates our frequency. Whether we are watching a TV show, reading a book, listening to the Joy-Filled Universe podcast, or watching the news, all of these things and more create a vibrational frequency that we push out into the universe. Our feelings are part of our internal guidance system. Remember that pod that we did on intuition? Yeah, the gut feeling. Think back to that. That is our internal guidance system. So when we are feeling joy, love, appreciation, confidence, and a sense of expansion, it means that we are in alignment with whatever it is that we are investing ourselves in. We are on course. The things we are thinking, the activities we are engaging are all actively moving us in a direction of our purpose, our dreams, and our desires. On the flip side, when we are feeling anger or depression, anxiousness, hopelessness, these feelings tend to put us in a state that takes us away from our dreams and desires. And when we are tuned in to our emotions, we will know when it is time to switch gears, change the channel, and just shift our energy into a better feeling state. And our emotions, they do not lie, no. And how we feel can be far more informative than anything that we might think or say. So let's be super careful not to ignore our emotions. Rather, we need to be careful to notice them instead. And if they aren't in a positive frame, well, then just release them or choose a better thought or change what it is that we are doing or where we are or whatever it is to get ourselves to a better feeling state. And perhaps go for a walk, snuggle your fur baby, put on some music and dance. All of this can be an interruption to the negativity and a great way to redirect into a state of better feeling emotions and in turn, better vibes that go with those emotions. So the action for lesson 7 is this. When was the last time you shed tears of joy? What was it that created this experience? Was it a person, place, thing, event, a song, a photo, a special occasion like a wedding or birthday? Whatever it was, take some time to think about it. Just feel that feeling again. I don't know about you because it's not even time for this exercise, but I am already thinking about a handful of experiences that have made me laugh so hard my stomach hurt and my tears just ran down my face. In fact, I swear my cheeks were hurting from smiling so big. So I believe the takeaway for this lesson is this. Thinking of things, people, places, events that allow us to genuinely feel good also allows us to feel empowered and seen and valued because it's bringing the emotion of joy front and center into our mind. And this is most especially helpful when we are having a bad day or coming from like an unpleasant engagement. It's a terrific and simple tool that can change a bad day into a really great one. Oh, okay. So lesson number 8. This lesson highlights the difference between positive and negative emotions. Yeah, emotions such as hatred, anger, jealousy, and fear, they all lower our vibes and can cause us to feel anxious and tense. And as we have discussed before, this dis-ease that we feel can create an acidic environment within our bodies, which puts us at higher risk of developing disease. Get it? Dis-ease. Disease. So this energy that negative emotions can bring with them can certainly take their toll on us. Also, when we are in low vibe feeling states, it can cause a sense of separation or like a wall that can impact the flow of positive energy in our lives. And to go a little bit deeper here, when we hold on to unpleasant feelings from our past, that just kind of stir up like negative emotions such as anger, fear, resentment, and betrayal, we need to just let them go. Let them go. Let them go. And we have to learn to release the old patterns and that just don't serve our highest good. And we need to start living in the present. And guess what? The more we focus on past pain or anger, the more we bring similar circumstances into our lives because like attracts like. Okay. All right, now let's move on to the beautiful positive emotions. These little gifts can have a very different impact on us. When we are feeling grateful and happy and loving and joyful, we can create a sense of lightness and expansion. I love that word expansion because expansion and lightness and joy is truly what we were born to feel every day of our lives. Born to feel this way every single day of our lives. Positive emotions effortlessly raise our vibe and bring beauty and joy and abundance from the universe. So the action for lesson 8 is this. Think of an incident in the last week that inspired you to feel more joy. Like watching an adorable puppy discover a new toy and the sheer joy that they have while playing with it for the very first time. Oh, I remember when Lily Rose Sunshine first encountered a ball. Oh, and to this day, it's still her very favorite thing to play with, a ball. And that totally brings me joy. Okay, I digress. What's another example? How about when a little baby just laughs out loud and those adorable belly laughs? Now that is sheer joy. Speaking about being born to live in joy and to be hardwired for joy. Yes, that's where you hear that incredible, just beautiful sound, belly laughs from a baby. What about when you see like a younger person help an elderly person with carrying their groceries or opening a door for them or giving them their seat on the train so that they can have a seat instead? I mean, those are just such lovely acts of kindness. Or I'm going to toss in one that gave me joy recently, and it's the feeling that I got when I was able to help someone who is vision impaired navigate the city of Washington, D.C. a little bit quicker. And I did this by helping them to get across the street safely, along with purchasing a Metro card and finding their specific train so that they could get to where they needed to go without any worry. That was joy for me. So whatever it is, replay that joyful scene in your mind like a movie and step into that movie and see yourself in it, along with allowing yourself to feel into the joy that this thought brings, because it is magical. And then check in with yourself to see, are you feeling more joyful? Because I bet you after you run this through your mind a few times, I bet you certainly will be. So the key takeaway here is this. Whenever we start to find ourselves moving into like a low vibe state, catch that moment and pivot to a happy reflection of a joyful event that we have experienced. By doing this, we are purposefully choosing joy over anger or fear. So dial in to that joyful mental movie and enjoy the attitude boost that it provides, because it's so much more supportive and it's such a great emotional state to be in. And now, lesson number 9. And this one is really easy to say, but it's certainly not easy to do. And that is the act of forgiveness. And now, I don't know about you, but I can and often do forgive others. That is not too hard for me, I'm grateful to say. However, what is hard for me is forgiving myself. Yet, forgiveness is absolutely a necessary and transformational process because it releases emotional burdens, it heals wounds, and it fosters inner peace. It can also transform relationships by breaking cycles of resentment, and it empowers personal growth by letting go of guilt and pain. So, learning to forgive people or situations that caused us pain can truly be a liberating experience because, in a sense, we are releasing a person or experience and no longer allowing them or the circumstance to have power over us. Because by hanging on to negative thoughts and emotions, we are only harming ourselves, which is largely one of my favorite Buddha sayings. And it goes like, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. So instead, wish them well, forgive them, and most importantly, forgive yourself. Forgiveness truly sets us free, and no one can tell us how to feel. If we are feeling bad, we need to figure out what it is that's causing these feelings. And here's a clue. It usually is not external factors. It's us. We have to make a conscious decision to choose happiness and optimism. Emotions fuel our energy, and it is this energy that fuels our future. So the action for lesson number 9 has everything to do with forgiving ourselves for something we feel guilty or ashamed of. So think about something from your past that you have either said or done, and you feel guilt or shame because you said or did it. And as a result of this thought, think the words, I forgive myself. Just think them and repeat them a few times in your mind. I forgive myself, right? And then bring them into a whisper and softly say, I forgive myself. And do that a few times. Well, getting a little bit louder with each time to the point where you are bringing a smile to your face, your chin's up, your eyes are up to the sky, your shoulders are back, and you're saying out loud, I forgive myself. Smile and say it. I forgive myself. And maybe even just wrap your arms around yourself and give yourself a big hug and say confidently and joyfully out loud, I lovingly forgive myself. And I know this can be hard. Trust me, I know it can be hard. And I'm not even at this lesson yet, and I have chill bumps just thinking about it. But here's the honest truth, and I believe that the point of this lesson is this. We are always doing the best that we can with the knowledge that we have at that point in time. Whatever that point in time is, we're doing the best we can. And the more that we learn and grow, the better we're going to do. And the single most important benefit of self-forgiveness, I'm just going to say, is that it allows us to forgive others too. It allows us to do it with much more ease and a lot less effort. We find ourselves giving up on like criticism and complaints and guilt and judging others, which allows us to grow because we leave those low vibes behind us and we no longer run them through our minds or give them any energy because we have forgiven ourselves. And that feels awesome. And you know what else feels great? I'm going to tell you. Lesson 10, because this lesson focuses on making a conscious decision to focus on the positive. Yes, we are all blessed with the fabulous free will to decide where we focus our energy and attention. Positive yields positive, and guess what? Negative yields negative. So focusing on what we do want and not what we don't want is really important. And remember, the universe, it doesn't know no. Nah, it doesn't understand no. It is really, really important to message your thoughts in a positive way. So for example, if we say, I don't want to be mad, the universe is hearing, I want to be mad. So perhaps a positive spin on this could be, I want to be more loving and accepting of the way things are. Because when we claim to be against something, we're actually creating more of it, which makes me think of the late great Mother Teresa and a quote that she expressed in her 1994 address at the National Prayer Breakfast. And it went like this. I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said that I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. So she wasn't up for doing any anti-war, but if you were going to throw down a pro-peace rally, Mother Teresa, she was going to be there because, again, she is looking to promote peace, and the universe doesn't understand no, hence anti-war is promoting war, and pro-peace, well, you get what I'm saying. So if people are always focused on the fear of being poor, for example, or not having enough money, well, then they are only going to be bringing more poverty into their lives. Same holds true for the opposite. If you are always focused on like how wealthy you are and staying focused on the fact that money is always flowing effortlessly to you, it brings more wealth and abundance. So the action for lesson 10 is this. Think of one recurring negative thought that you tend to think of almost every day. What is it? And how did it come to be? When you have that thought in mind, think up a positive thought that you can use to replace it. And you know what? We did this in lesson number 5. So if it sounds familiar, it is. It's the power of substitution. And the reason that we're doing it again is because the more we get used to doing it, the better we become at making it a habit, with the goal of really just naturally and effortlessly replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. And the key takeaway here for this lesson, I'm going to say that it's all about learning to be aware and to think about restructuring the way that we speak. And I can't say it enough. The universe doesn't understand no. So we don't want anti-war. We want pro-peace. And I also think, too, that this lesson is reminding us to avoid focusing and giving our energy to negative people, things, or circumstances in our lives, because where our attention goes, the energy flows. And on that note, we did it again, folks. We did it again. The second batch of 5 law of attraction exercises to practice this week. So let's do it. Remember to stay focused on that clear desire that we are wanting to manifest during this 30-day practice of the law of attraction. And while also then recalling lessons 1 through 5, let's lean into and practice lessons 6 through 10, which are lesson 6, focusing on the differences between the conscious and the subconscious mind, and learn to connect to that super powerful subconscious mind that occupies such a significant amount of our brain, and do this by quieting the chatter of your conscious mind and meditating for 5 while building it up to 20 minutes a day. And then lesson number 7, we will practice listening to our emotions and accessing our feedback system, which highlights what we are creating in our lives. And we will also reflect on those happy events that brought us to tears of joy, that is, which honestly is the springboard into the pool of high vibes. All right. And then lesson number 8, which is where we focus on the difference between positive and negative emotions. And you know what I say to the negative ones? Yeah, let them go. Goodbye. And hello to the joyful mental movie that is derived from an action or event that inspired us most recently. Oh my gosh, when we are really tuned in, you'll be amazed and encouraged with just how many acts of kindness really do exist in our world. So pick a few that have touched your heart and enjoy the good feels that comes from remembering how they played out. And don't forget, put yourself in the picture. All right, and then lesson number 9, the act of forgiveness. Oh my God, I forgive myself. I forgive myself. Let's do that and unload that heavy burden of guilt, anger, shame, whatever it is that may have been causing that emotional cholesterol to clog our energetic flow of abundance. Just forgive yourself because you're awesome, and we are always doing the very best we can with the tools and the awareness that we have at that given point in time. So forgive yourself and let it go. And then rounding out our lessons for this pod is number 10, which is focusing on the positive, the power of substitution. It makes another appearance because it is so important to work on developing the habit of changing a negative thought into a positive one. So let's be aware of our words and how we use them, because the universe doesn't understand no. So let's frame things in a positive way rather than saying things like, I don't want to be sad. Let's say, I love being happy. And I'm happy to say that we are now well on our way into our 30 days of the Law of Attraction lessons. I hope that you are enjoying these exercises, and I really hope that you're incorporating them into your days. And if you are, please help me out by sharing this pod with a friend. Do it together and leave me a review or even a 5-star rating, which would be fabulous and most appreciated, because all of this, it really helps me out, and I'm so thankful for your support. Also, I have been getting better at my Instagram, and I have just been putting lots of postings of my favorite quotes out there. So please come and have a look and maybe follow me there too. I'm at Joy-Filled Universe. And speaking of quotes, I am going to harken back to Mother Teresa, who I mentioned earlier in the pod, and I'm going to leave you with a very simple but lovely quote, and it goes like this: peace begins with a smile, which truly reflects the incredible harmony and connection, compassion, and kindness that Mother Teresa is remembered so fondly for. And that is a wrap this week, my friends. I am your host, Lisa Ryan. This is the Joy-Filled Universe podcast, where we explore all the tools and tricks that are going to make your universe even more joyful than it already is. And I will see you next week. Bye.